Hi, my name is Chouduri. I am speaking from New Delhi, India, where we are stuck in one of the most punishing and brutal lockdowns in anywhere in the world right now. We are among the privileged few who have a roof over our heads and food and cash in the bank, and therefore most of our life is largely uninterrupted, but we are the small minority of people who are in this position. The vast majority of our fellow citizens, including our fellow residents in the city of New Delhi, the capital, work in the informal sector. More than 95% of the population, they work in companies or small firms or businesses. Most of them or do labor, which is all off the books. And since March, when the lockdown started, most of them have not been paid. Many of them were not even paid their salaries for March. And now they're running out of cash. In this situation, we're in the heat, the dead of summer, which is about 40 to 45-degree heat every day in Celsius. Many people have started literally walking home to their villages, which are hundreds of miles away. Some have cycled. There are bitter stories of people cycling with family members on their backs for 1,200 kilometers, or walking with children in their laps for 400, 500, 600 kilometers. People that are dying on the train tracks because many are following railroad tracks to go home. People collapsing because of starvation, because of thirst in this heat. We're in a man-made catastrophe right now. The coronavirus, mercifully, has not affected us in the dramatic way that it has affected those in Italy or in Spain or in the United States. But the policies to contain the coronavirus have been disastrous. In the middle of all of this, I've been reading a lot of Primo Levi to understand the kind of extreme circumstances that man is capable of withstanding. And of course, Primo Levi in his life underwent trials that none of us can imagine and are really not comparable to what we are suffering right now. But I think his insights are very helpful. And the first insight that I have found in his work is that suffering is never ennobling to the person who suffers. It doesn't, unlike the portrayals of the camps and the Holocaust, it doesn't automatically make you a better, more moral, noble person. The first thing it does is to break you down, to dehumanize you, to make you as cruel, unjust, as small as the person who is imposing the suffering. And I think that is very true. All around us, I see not solidarity, but suspicion, fear, old practices of almost untouchability, where people are scared not only to be together, but to even touch each other, let alone to help each other, and an indifference to the suffering of others. And in the midst of this, I think, Levy has an idea of the privileged prisoners in the camps, those who ran some of the gas chambers and the work camps. And I often feel that those of us in this circumstance who are protected or insulated, the few, the 3, 5, 7% of the population who have food and shelter and cash in our pockets, many of whom are getting regular salaries, even with a small deduction, but are getting paid on a regular basis. We are like the privileged prisoners, where what we are doing is building fortifications around us, around our neighborhoods, around our lives, to protect us against the rest of the population, the majority of our fellow human beings. I say all of this, which is very depressing, because in spite of all of this stark reality about what man is capable of doing to man, at the end of the day, Primo Levi tells us that the only way out of this is solidarity. The only way out of this is to maintain the fact that even in the most inhumane circumstance, one's humanity does not die. Even in the person who is doing the torturing, who is causing the suffering, even that person exists in a gray zone, as he puts it, where there is a kind of humanity, even within them, which can be brought out. And the first thing that you need to do to restore yourself, to restore all of us to the fullness of ourselves as human beings, is to start once again to build those bonds of solidarity, the thing that makes us human. We are not individuals. We're not born into the world as one person. We are born into the world in families, in neighborhoods, in communities, in societies. And so what we need to do is to reconnect those bonds with each other, which are the things that make us human beings. And that's all I wanted to share. Thank you.